Hey guys, my name is Matumio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a YouTube message. So the first question for today comes from Christopher, and it is, what do you think about being able to pull out your secondary when climbing a ladder? I think that this is a fantastic idea. DICE decided to put in a lot of rooftops into the game, and while I like that you can climb ladders a lot faster, you can kind of look around, one of the largest disadvantages of trying to take out or trying to get onto the roof to even kill or take out the camping people up there is that when you're on the roof itself, you usually have a pretty large advantage over everyone else. And so trying to get those people off of the rooftop can be pretty frustrating, and the only real way to do it right now is to like switch on over to the support class and use like the air burst or the mortar. But if you want to get up there yourself and take them out with your primary or your secondary, you have to leave yourself really exposed, because when you actually do try to climb up the ladder, those last couple of steps feel like they take an eternity. You have to like thrust your body up above. It takes like a couple of seconds for you to get your weapon back up and ready to go, and in that time usually someone's going to take you out at that point if they're kind of paying attention to what's going on around them. And so if you have the option to stop and then pull out your pistol, maybe you can't climb the ladder, like maybe you can't like move up and down when you have your pistol out, but if you have the option to kind of peek your head over the ledge a little bit as you near the top and then pull out your pistol and then try to take them out before they can kill you or give them that large advantage where you have to go through that very long animation, I would really like that change. It's still going to put you at a disadvantage because you are using a secondary over a primary weapon, but I think that this would be kind of a nice compromise. It would make it so that rooftop camping isn't as viable, or you're gonna have to kind of pay attention a little bit more to what's going on around you and trying to make sure that people aren't climbing up the ladders and going to take you out with their secondary. But overall, I would love to have this in the game. The next question comes from Henry, and it is, what if performing class actions such as reviving, giving ammo, repairing, and spawning also increased your field upgrade slot? I think that this would get people to play their class a little bit more. So I'm assuming you already know that field upgrades already act like this when you perform squad-based actions. So if you revive a squad mate, you spot for them, and they take out an enemy, it is going to increase or fill up your field upgrade bar. But what I'm assuming you mean is that you want it to be so that whenever you perform these actions with teammates, it also will increase your field upgrade bar. And honestly, I would love if they made this change, because while I understood what DICE was going for, they wanted to make it so that squads were working together, they were a cohesive unit trying to move around the map, taking objectives, reviving their squad mates, doing these team-based actions to unlock those specializations. And while that's awesome in concept, I love the concept of it, in reality, what it basically has kind of devolved into is that while every once in a while you'll have squad mates that work around with you, because for the most part you're just running around with random people in your squad, they're off doing their own thing. And so while you are doing team-based actions, you are capturing objectives, you're giving ammo and health to your teammates, they're usually not squad mates. And so there will be some rounds, especially if you're playing on something like domination or obliteration or especially like team deathmatch, you never unlock even like the second or third tier of the field upgrade paths because your squad mates aren't running around with you. They're kind of off doing their own thing. And so personally, what I would like to see changed is just make it so that I can slowly start to unlock these field upgrades through team-based actions. And if they still want to incentivize, or they still want to make it so that you unlock field upgrades faster with squads, then keep that in there. Or just make it so that if you do team-based actions and it's not a squad mate, how about it just give you less progression, you know, towards your next specialization? I feel like that would just be a very solid compromise, because there are a lot of times where I try to work with my squad mates, but then they just kind of refuse to do the appropriate action, and they just run off going in, you know, random directions, and it's just like I can't follow every single one of them. It's like literally impossible, and I want to unlock these field upgrades, and it would just be nice if there was some other way, maybe a slower way, by doing all just team-based actions where I could start to unlock these specializations. I would think that would be a solid change. The next question is, what do you think about adding to the engineer class a slow RC car that will carry a explosive charge that will be as powerful as one C4 charge? No, why does this question keep coming up? Why are there so many people out there that want to have drones or these go-karts or whatever with C4 or high explosives where they can sit in the backfield, they can just sit on a supply crate or an ammo crate, and then just fling these around the map all day. Does that sound exciting to you? Does that sound like an enjoyable gameplay experience for everyone around you? No, like they want to fight infantry on infantry. They want to go infantry versus vehicle or vehicle versus vehicle. Why would I want to go against these drones or kind of have to deal with drones that have no penalty to them when they die? Like the person behind it doesn't get a death when they disappear. Like they can just sit on another ammo crate, get another one out there, they can sit at their deployment with no risk to them at all, and they'll sit there all day because they know they've got this C4 on a go-kart where they can kind of fling it around the map and get a lot of kills with it. It's poor game design. I don't know why games or developers insist on putting in these little nifty little gadgets into the game, because honestly, I think it takes away from the gameplay experience. It's not enjoyable when you have to fight all of these different small robots that have no penalty to the player that is like manning them. It's a poor game mechanic, and I would not like to have it in Battlefield 4 or in any Battlefield game. The next question comes from Pancho, and it is, what do you think of some kind of placeable piece of equipment that could act as a counter UAV? I think this would work well for the support kit and would give teams a fighting chance against a commander when they have none. I think that this is a pretty sweet idea. Maybe not make it as large as the counter UAV works for the commander, because that would just be massive, but if it was like the radius of the tugs, or it kind of worked as an anti-tugs, that would be pretty awesome. And I can have a feeling that if this was available in the game, there would be a lot of support players out there taking advantage of it. It would keep you off the minimap, or if the enemy was inside of it, would kind of scramble their radar. This isn't revolutionary by any means. There are a lot of other first-person shooters out there that have this same design, and it would be kind of cool if they added it into the game. The one downside, though, that I can think of is that this could promote more camping. If there was a gadget in the game where you could kind of place this down, and the only way that you could take advantage of it or get any use out of it was where if you kind of stayed near it, then the logical conclusion is that more people are going to camp around that little gadget. And so it could kind of cause more people to camp around these areas. And I'm not necessarily saying that camping is bad by any means. Like it is a valid tactic, and if you're trying to defend an objective, then it's a very valid tactic. But I know there are a lot of people out there that just are not thrilled by camping by any means. That being said, though, there is the tugs, and there are other gadgets in the game that work along the same lines, where the only way you're going to get any advantage from it is if you kind of stay around it. And I wouldn't say that camping in the game, at least around those gadgets, is necessarily an issue at this point. So kind of let me know, do you think that this would promote camping? Do you think that would be a problem? Because overall, I would love to have something like this in the game. I know a lot of support players would take advantage of it, and it would be a nice little addition. But yeah, guys, that is it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, if you would like to submit your own question that can be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a YouTube message. But until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.